Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Greetings from the KYOS News Desk. We are joined once again this week by Merced County Supervisor, John Pedroso.
How are you, Steve?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I just always have to concentrate on the introduction because it's one week it's you and the other week it's your son. You're you're the county supervisor, right?
Yeah, and I have way less because now that he is getting that receding hairline, he's still got a ways to go before he catches up to me.
Let me ask you a question: is that genetic, or is it soon after you have a child? Because I noticed that Josh.
That's a little bit of both, to tell you the truth. But no, they say if your mom's dad was bald, that's how it comes. But
yeah, but I can buck that trend because my mom's dad was bald and I'm not.
Well, my mom's dad was very bald and I am, but now my father-in-law, who I never got to meet personally because he died when my wife was 7 years old, but he had a full head of hair at 60-some years old when he passed away.
They say they're actually getting close to being able to identify the gene that causes baldness, so that could be a thing of the past.
You know what? It's less maintenance for me,
brother. You know what? And bald's cool.
When I go to the barber shop, which I still do, when there's little strands of hair on the top of my head, he cuts it. It still makes me feel good.
You should curl that sucker, dude.
So, anyways, that's part of the deal.
Anyway, I hesitate to go here because last time I spoke of my beloved Oakland Athletics, they kind of went on a dump. They lost like 12 out of 13 games. So I'm going to let you kind of speak towards
they're a half a game out of first place. They're 2 games in the loss column behind the Rangers, but they've won
like 18 out of the last 20.
Yeah, the team that I'd be I'll talk about the Giants here in a little bit, but that division, what is amazing to me is how bad the Angels are, and they got swept by Houston the other day. 3-game. This is the Angels with all the powerhouses and the money on there. And
who do you point the finger at there? The management? The manager?
I can't say that because I don't know Mike Scioscia. I've met him at a A's game before when Brian Fuentes played for the Angels. But and he's just a really nice and he used to play for the Dodgers, which everybody knows that. He was a hell of a catcher. Yeah. But you can't point that at him because he's too good of a manager. It's just one of those things that
chemistry
just isn't clicking right now, and it's still early. They haven't played 100 games yet, but the A's, man, they are on fire, and they got it. And I love Bob Melvin. I just think he's a perfect fit for that. Organization because it looks like the players play for him, and they got some really good studs on there. That Cespedes and Coco Crisp has been playing out his rear. And then Donaldson.
I think he's the most valuable player on that team personally. Coco Crisp.
Yes, because he's a
veteran. He's calm.
He's a leader.
Panic. Yeah, exactly.
And then they got Donaldson, and their pitching is just fantastic. Where the Giants, I don't know what the hell's going on. I can't say it any other way other than since Pagan's been down. They've just been in the tank, and the pitching's just been, I know you go through slumps and stuff, and I don't give up because, and you try not to get excited yet, but it's painful to watch sometimes when they play so bad.
Basically the same starting rotation?
Except for with Vogelsong down now, so they're trying to fill it with Chad Godin. They tried that rookie from Fresno, but
he lasted one game.
Yeah, but I saw him pitch Monday. I think I was at a Grizzly game, and he got lit up pretty good and threw 5 innings. I think it was 5-0. They were losing. So the Giants right now don't have someone that sticks out as far as starting pitching in the minor leagues that I've seen. The difference with this team that I haven't seen in the past is they have all kinds of hitting where they didn't have to, where you don't have to depend on their pitching. But last year and the year before, when they won 2010 and last year, the pitching got them through the games because they were so good, and the hitting wasn't as good as this year. So I have no idea how this works, but chemistry is a huge deal. And what I still like about the Giants, and I don't care what my Dodger friends say and my A's friends say, if you got that team chemistry, sooner or later, and anybody that's played sports, you go through these, slumps and then all of a sudden something happens and then mojo kicks in, and then
is there anybody running away with that division? I mean, they're still within striking distance.
Oh no,
right?
they're only 2 and a half games out. But they got a tough road trip, and I think for the month of June, I think they only have like
who's leading that division? Arizona.
Arizona, and they play Arizona this weekend for 3, and then they go to Pittsburgh for 3, and then Atlanta for 3.
Pittsburgh's pretty good this year.
Pittsburgh's got. If Pittsburgh was in our division, they'd be leading our division right now. So we got. We got our work cut out for us for the next month. And all
I can say, John, is you guys have won 2 out of the last 3 World Series.
Exactly.
So I mean, if you have an off year, I'm going to go ahead and give you a pass on that.
Well, but I mean, I still.
And I'm not saying the season's over, but if
it's not over. And some of my friends that are big Giants fans are getting all wigged out. Just relax. Let's see what happens.
Amen. And we were talking a little bit earlier about some local guys, and you brought up Doug Pfister, and you were. The cool thing about that is the first comment you made to me when we brought his name up is what a fine young man he was. You didn't say anything about his athletic career. You just said I've known him since he was young, and he's a fine young man, and that's the coolest thing. But you were saying that back in his day, even it wasn't like he was destined to go on and to accomplish what he's accomplished.
Right.
So how do you tell? I mean, what's that intangible?
Well, I think what's so unique about Doug and Brian is...
And Brian's from here, too? He came up through
born and raised.
Did you watch him?
I saw him some, but...
and did he stand out? I mean,
No, that's my point. But, there's something I think that we forget about when it comes to sports and stuff. But it's not only your athletic ability, but it's your mind and you as a person. And how you respect people, and how you respect your coaches, and how you respect your teammates. And if you're, this is just my personal opinion, but and I know those kids very well, Doug and Brian, and I know those 2 kids. That's one of the reasons why they got to where they were, was because of the way they were raised, and the way they treated people, and the way they respected their coaches, and persevered through some of the trials and tribulations that they went through to get to where they got. You know what I'm saying? And then when you see Doug go to, and I saw Doug off, like I said this before, I mean, and he's just a classy human being because of his parents. I just saw his dad Monday at the Grizzly game, and he came over and talked to me. But, it's just a tribute to the parents and how they've raised their
Absolutely.
kids.
I couldn't agree more.
And when you see someone like Doug Pfister, you see someone like Brian Fuentes, and those are the 2 that I know the best. I can't say about the other kids because there's another kid out there, Curtis Parch, I know he's in the Reds organization, and he pitched at Merced College, and then he got drafted, and then he's on the 40-man roster. So I mean, you see kids like this, that come from a little town of Merced,
this town has a very strong baseball tradition.
Well,
I really feel that here.
But you've had the coaches here like Butch Hughes and Chris Pedretti and Coach Dick Juarez in high school.
Souza,
Lou Souza, Scotty Haig, and that whole group.
Scott Haig.
It's been
Scott Haig's a buddy of mine, yeah.
all those But and then when they get to that next level of junior college baseball, and then they move on to like Brian, I don't even think went to Merced College and got drafted, and then he went to Seattle. You know what I'm saying?
Brian Fuentes was drafted by Seattle?
Yeah, and then he went to Seattle.
And so wasn't originally Pfister with Seattle?
Doug was drafted. Doug went to Fresno State, did very well at Fresno State.
Right out of high school?
Right. No, Doug played 2 years at Merced College. Then he went to Fresno State and pitched there for 2 years. And then he got drafted by Seattle, low draft. But then he went up the ranks, and before you know it, he was a starting pitcher.
Now, are they roughly the same age?
No, Doug's quite a bit. Doug's like, I want to say 5-6 years younger at least.
But I find it don't you find it kind of interesting that Seattle drafts Fuentes?
Yeah, it's
and then they come back and dip into the Merced area to bring.
But Doug is he's just a genuine human being. Yeah. I can't say no more.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was.
Does he make his home here in the off season?
Yes.
And does he get out? I mean,
He's all.
That's cool.
I mean, he's.
And Fuentes is retired now, right?
Yes.
And is he back in the area?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Very much so. Yeah. And in fact, his dad is just retiring now from the county. He was a code enforcement officer in the planning department for the county, and is just retiring this month. Sometime this month will be his last month. I think he's been at the county for, I think, 18 years, but 13 or 18. But anyways, yeah, so, kudos to Bryant, because he's given a lot back to the community. I know Doug's given a lot back to the community, and what more can you say? It's just one of those
absolutely
good feel stories, and it even means more when you know him, you know what I'm saying?
Real quick, Pfister pitching with Detroit.
Right.
How's he doing?
Very good.
Good.
Yeah, he's, I think, 6-2 with, I forget what his ERA is right now, but
he's starting rotation.
Oh, yeah, he pitches after Verlander,
healthy.
I think. Yeah. So, I mean, he's had 2 or 3 games where he's had 11 or 12 strikeouts per game.
And you mentioned that his father. Is his father just have like the MLB package and watch his games, or does he actually go meet him?
No, they'll go out once in a while. I mean, they'll fly out.
They spend time in Detroit.
But I mean.
So what's he do? Just grab an apartment back there, basically?
Who?
And just,
Doug?
Yeah.
I don't know the living situation, but I just know that. I mean.
But he's here when he's not working. He resides here in Merced.
Yeah, he bought a home here in Merced, and he comes back home.
Yeah.
He comes back home.
Is he one of those dudes that kind of likes to be left alone? I mean, is he?
No, Doug's never been like that. He's just a genuine guy.
Yeah.
He really is.
And he's a big dude, too. Isn't
when
he
he
like
comes
6'7",
back to Merced,
6'8"?
when after the season, we'll get him on the show. That's
Really?
what we'll do, yes.
Really, John?
We will
You're not
get,
just saying that?
I'm telling you, we will get Doug Pfister
I'm going to hold
on the
you
show.
to that. Can we get Fuentes, too?
We can get them both if you want.
All right, make that happen, brother.
We can make it happen.
Speaking of, the boys of summer, it looks like you guys just okayed fireworks out in the county.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We had, I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but we had it was kind of a unique situation how this all transpired about
I remember when you were contemplating it, you said it was an opportunity for like organizations to fundraise. That was the original onus of it.
That's what we were focusing, or myself was focusing on, and that's why when I met with some of these people with the Safe and Sane Fireworks to get out in the unincorporated communities for these nonprofit organizations to try to make some money. So you have to go through all the mumbo jumbo, if you will, all the bureaucratic process, and dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
And we've done that. We've done that.
Okay. We had a hearing. I think it was the last board meeting in May, and then and then it came to the vote on June 4th, this past board meeting, and it got passed 5-0 vote. So. Now we have it, and
now can you light them off in the unincorporated areas too? Okay,
yeah.
So you can enjoy a fireworks.
You can enjoy fireworks in Planada and La Grande
everywhere in Merced County now.
Yeah. The only places that you can't is where in the rural areas where it's designated fire zone. For through Cal Fire, which are
like high fire danger areas.
Yeah, high fire danger areas.
Yeah.
So and they're illegal then. But as far as
how do we know where that is?
That there's boundaries that they're
it'll notify
SRA
you?
Destination.
Okay.
And that's something to do with Cal Fire, and where fireworks are.
And you're
prohibited.
obviously looking to light these on concrete. Driveway.
It's not like so.
You're not going to go out in a dry field, hopefully, and start lighting these things off. that's common sense would tell you that.
Yeah, and sometimes people lack that, but. One other thing, Steve, before we move on to our next topic, which I think I know where you're going, but I wanted to say, this last week, it's been really hectic, but I want to emphasize to people that we had an issue that came up in Planada the other day with the legality of animals running around in the neighborhoods and chickens cackling at 4:00 in the morning, and in downtown Planada, if you will,
right.
And impacting the neighborhood and waking people up, and but where I'm going with this is when there's issues like that, I still want to emphasize that if you're not getting satisfaction by calling a department, you can always call myself at the office, and I can see if we can make things happen. I had a fella call me on, I think it was Wednesday, and he was not a happy camper. He was very upset about getting the runaround throughout the whole county system because of the chickens that keep waking him up.
Absolutely,
and stuff.
and I can sympathize with him on that.
And I'm not, you know, and I'm not.
Those things crow at sunup, right?
Right, 4:15 they have been, and you know, and
it's not a pleasant
so
way
I
to
understood.
wake up. Yeah,
and the fella actually said if you know, he's called this department, he's called that department, he's getting the runaround, and if you give a blank, you'll call me back. Well, I called him back. And I asked because I have to hear both sides of the story, but I want to make sure that I reach out to my constituents. You know, my point being is when there's something like that, if you're not getting satisfaction by some of the departments that you're talking to, you can always call 385-7366 and ask for one of the supervisors, and we'll look into it and get somebody back.
What does the law say about that?
Can't have chickens in a downtown area.
Yeah.
And so I called code enforcement.
That's a no-brainer, right?
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I guess the person that was renting the house was just plain like he didn't know exactly the law or whatever, but code enforcement, I called code enforcement that afternoon after I talked to my constituent, and we got it taken care of. And I had code enforcement and animal control go out Thursday morning and
take a look.
See what it is. And I'm pretty sure that it was a job well done.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Well,
but
yeah.
My point is, I mean, when there's stuff like that, and it just as simple as even, and I had to do this last Friday, a week ago Friday, that there was, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a dog lover, big time dog lover. And, when I see a dog on the side of the road that's been hit and it's been laying there and no one picks it up, I can't stress enough. I mean, just call. If you're not getting a response from that department, call the office. Call 385-7366.
And does that go for all your other supervisors too?
I would think
are they
so.
as accessible as you are?
Oh yeah. I mean, all you got to do is make a call, and somebody's going to check into something, and find out what's going on. And that's all I wanted to say on that,
right.
Because, if we don't know about it, we can't help you.
Absolutely.
Once we find out about it, we can get you steered in the right direction.
Amen.
And we always do a follow-up.
Right.
So.
And think your lucky stars that we live in a community where you can make a phone call and get a response from a supervisor, because I know that's not the case everywhere.
No.
They got the gatekeeper. We'll take a message, we'll call you back.
Yeah, well.
Now, where did you think I was going to go next?
We were going to discuss high-speed rail.
There you go, brother. You do know where I'm going.
So,
what's happening with that?
Well, I was on Thursday. I drove up to the meeting and spoke a little bit to the authority board. It was myself and Vito Chiesa, supervisor from Stanislaus County, who's a very good friend of mine, but also sits on this Joint Powers of Authority passenger rail committee that I'm on, that I chair. But they had asked us some of the other members of our JPA asked if we'd mind going up and speaking on behalf of the connectivity of the ACE coming down to Merced. So it's another one of those pieces of the puzzle. So when it does happen, allegedly in 2022, that we're ready for connected.
Is that the target date for us as far as Merced goes?
That's what they're saying. But
2022.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But I mean, who knows, Steve? I mean, I know everybody's still, throwing daggers at the authority and
well, you got to walk before you run, and when the walk is supposed to start by the end of this year, correct?
That's what they're saying. Yeah,
is that still on track? I mean, as far as you know, is that
no pun intended, right?
Right.
Yeah,
but as far as you know, this year
they're supposed to break ground in the fall. That's
I saw they awarded that contract
to
that outfit out of Texas and Pasadena.
Yeah,
I think it was
right,
and it's a skosh under a billion. And that was for the initial 30 miles.
Yeah, the first phase
from Madera down towards Fresno.
Yes. So but I still can't say enough here in the I mean, when I first got there yesterday morning, we left at 6. We had to be there by 9. But Dan Richards, who's chair of the authority board, I think, he recognized me, and then he came and talked to me a little bit, and knew why we were there, of course. But I just think this whole different regime of this board the makeup of it is so much.
Well, they're showing a lot more respect to the people.
Well,
that
and he
it's
did
gonna
also
affect,
tell me that they did go and meet with Kings County. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and had a real good meeting with them. So
and they settled with the Farm Bureau here in Merced County. So they're getting
there's
some
still,
obstacles out of the way.
There's
for
still
sure.
some tweaks that have to be taken care of, because I know there's some areas, there's some sensitive areas that still need to be looked at pretty close. But I think they're doing a pretty good job.
So as we sit here today, we're still looking at breaking ground on the initial phase of the high-speed rail by the end of this year.
Oh, I believe it.
Absolutely.
I believe it.
Have you heard anything else about the Walmart distribution center?
No.
Okay. And the other thing I got to address, John,
That's a
I got
Josh
to tell
question.
you. Yeah, I will. I'll hit him up. Yeah, Josh brought in Jim Costa last
Yep.
week. That's cool. I
Yeah.
think,
I got to tell you, in all reality, in fact, I was talking to somebody last night about this, Amanda Carbajal from the
Farm Bureau. Yeah.
And I've known
frequent
her.
guest here on KYOS.
I've known her ever since she was a little kid.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
She's a local
and
gal?
Really good family.
Right on.
She's got a sister that, she went to school with Josh in high school,
And she spent some time in D.C., right?
Right.
Kaylee Bay Hutchinson out of Texas. She worked on with her.
Yeah. But anyways, we were talking about Costa, and I got to tell you, the more I'm around Jim, I mean, he is very dedicated to his district, and I really, really want to commend him. And I listened to the show. Mr. Costa is very well spoken. It's not whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. I think he's one of the ones that gets it. Whether you got a D or an R, he's gonna fight for what he believes in.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a really good job on your show the other day.
Yeah. You tell he knows what he's
know.
talking about. And unfortunately, I think we're going to realize one of our fears is this immigration bill that he was hoping to get out on the floor. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's going to get pushed to the wayside.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I got to tell you though, it goes back to I like local government so much because we have more of control of what we do here. And I think I brought this up when I was back in DC. We had went to for the One Voice trip, and we went into one of our senator's office and weren't.
Feinstein.
Right.
Yeah, you did
and
share that
I
story
happened
with
to
us.
send a letter to Feinstein's office.
Did you really? Good for you.
And through with my frustration, and I did get a response back from their chief of staff on Wednesday, matter of fact, asking me exactly what happened, and I just point blank told him that I said, first of all, I'm not a brand new supervisor. I've been doing this for a long time, and I says I don't like going back to Washington D.C. that much, anyways. But when I do go, I don't like to be treated like we were treated, and I was really upset with the way we were treated through at Senator Feinstein's office, because I have the utmost respect for her, because she's always been, her staff and herself have been just really, good people to work with. And, it was like the wind was taken out of your sail this last time when we were in her office. And that's what I told Mr. Thompson the other day, the chief of staff, that I was just really taken off guard by being treated like that.
Did you let him know who did that? I mean, who treated you like
yes.
that? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be some consequences to that.
I would think there would
imagine.
be. Yeah, not trying to say that I wanted to get anybody in trouble, but when I saw the way that the mayor from Johnny Mays was, treated, and saw the way that
basically what it was is he was dismissive. Like, say your piece and move on, because we got better things to do.
It wasn't,
right.
It's
Nobody likes to be
nothing.
treated like that. That's how the high-speed rail was treating us at the beginning
exactly.
too.
But I always tell people also, and it's whether it's in my office or in any of my colleagues' office, if someone comes in to see me and I want to find out what's going on, I'm going to take notes and then
you're
look
giving your
into
attention.
it.
You're going to be present in the conversation.
Right. And as I'm writing notes, I tell them, don't think I'm not listening.
You're running into Paisley's time. We got to get going here, and I got to ask you real quick.
Yes.
Have you given any thought to your exit songs? Because I got to tell you, I'm not going to tell you what song it was, but the Citizen Watch with Casey Steed, and a new guest host we had yesterday, Robert Tomasetti. They dedicated a theme song to you. I'm not going to tell you what it was. You're going to have to listen tomorrow. But have you given any thought to your
I was thinking about that. Yes, I got a couple coming, but
because you're going to have to think about that, John, because that's part of the gig now.
Yeah.
I mean, as a host of a show
Bachman
here on KYOS.
Turner Overdrive, Taking Care of Business is one of the ones that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
To be honest
All
with
right.
you. And then there's a couple other ones that I got, but
Yep.
you know, I don't want to take away from. I still think the sheriff should have the Andy Griffith theme song.
You're not the only one. That was actually mentioned yesterday on Citizen Watch also.
But anyways, we're thinking next time I for sure will have my decision.
We're in the
made.
early stages of trying to set up a celebrity roast of Payson 2 at the fairgrounds. Don't you think that would raise like $1 million?
Oh yeah, it should, because there'd be people breaking the door down wanting to say something. I'm sure.
Anyway,
But,
do you need anything out there before I let you go?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to bring up the Merced County Fair is coming up.
Yes.
You know, and I've been involved.
That's Thursday?
In this. Yeah, it's Wednesday through
Wednesday
next
the
Sunday.
12th. Okay,
Yeah.
Wednesday the 12th.
Through the
Sunday
16th,
the 16th.
Father's Day.
Right. $5 to get in, very reasonably
and
priced.
It's saluting our veterans.
Absolutely.
And so I know they're trying to find young farmers that were in the service that are back out on the ranch now, and they have talked to some of our veterans that did World War I or II or Korean War or the Vietnam War that give back, you know, that are back here that served our country. I know my uncle was a Korean War veteran, and you know, people, and then come back to agriculture. So this is a great tribute to them, and I really encourage people to go out there because it's fun atmosphere. I think the weather's going to be cooler than it is supposed to be this weekend.
It is supposed to cool down in the mid-90s.
So Tom Musser and his staff out there at the fairgrounds do a wonderful job. The auction's on the 15th. You know, go support the F4H and FFA kids.
Absolutely.
It's always a fun deal, and
it's a county tradition.
It's a county tradition.
Get out there and enjoy.
It's been going on for years and years and years.
It's your green light to go out and eat fried food and just indulge.
Because nothing's fattening out there.
That's right.
You get a break that week.
The laws of physics cease to exist that week.
Exactly. So, and then I wanted to say, since I won't be on next week, but happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. June is Prostate Awareness Month, and Major League Baseball even does a deal on Father's Day where every home run that's hit, I think they donate, I forget how much money, but it all goes for prostate cancer and, finding a cure. So men that are 45 or older need to get your PSA.
Absolutely.
Simple check in the arm, blood check. So have a great 2 weeks, and I'll see you in 2. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.